So, sitting... I keep jumping the gun.
Never.
I keep jumping the gun.
Just watch his hand.
I know. I wasn't paying attention.
Hand, man.
I wasn't paying attention. So, I have a movie, a DVD upstairs.
All right.
And the DVD has 5 Adam Sandler movies on it.
Yeah, it does.
We've been over this.
We can do all 5 of them. We've done 1.
Never.
So we have 4 more that we can do.
You bring it up as much as I do the dice thing. Only difference is my dice thing is actually funny.
Yeah, I don't know, because I have entertainment of 4 more movies.
You don't need entertainment when you got dice.
Anyway, the point is that
Yes.
you watch those movies
Yes.
and they're terrible.
Yeah.
And then you watch something like Billy Madison
Yes.
and you're like, oh, that's right, you used to be good at this.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a theory on it as well, because all 5 of those movies work their way into my theory. But welcome into That Movie Show is Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker, Bill Neville behind the board, who is cueing us, even though you're missing the cues.
Yeah,
and
I don't pay attention to the cues.
Today we are
I
covering...
have my own cues.
That's right. Be your own man. Be independent. We are covering Billy Madison, released February 10th, 1995. It was a budget of $10 million, came back with 26.4, which at the time made it number 1 at the box office for that weekend. It was written by Adam Sandler and Tim Herlihy, directed by Tamra Davis, and starring, of course, Adam Sandler, Bradley Whitford, Josh Mostel, Bridgette Wilson, Norm Macdonald, and Darren McGavin, the late, great Darren McGavin.
Okay.
The old man from The Christmas Story.
Yeah.
That's who you always be
The
to me.
old man from That Christmas Story.
And this was, as you mentioned, this was really the first of the... I mean, he had done a couple things here and there, but this was the first as what's been known as Adam Sandler movies.
Right, correct. And, you know, there was a good window here. I mean, iconically, it's this and Happy Gilmore.
It's, I mean, say what you will about current day Adam Sandler, you can not really match a 1-2 punch such as Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
As far as comedy movies are concerned, I dare anybody to rival that one.
Yeah.
Tweet me at Mike Wendt. Let me know what you think is a better 1-2 punch. Because those were 2 back-to-back years. 95, 96, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. And oddly enough, it was in between. Chris Farley had a similar thing happen. He had Tommy Boy and Black Sheep.
Right.
Same years. And in between both movies, in between Happy Gilmore and with Black Sheep on that end and Tommy Boy and Billy Madison on the other end, both these guys got fired from SNL.
Yeah.
Weird. I read an article with Adam Sandler from maybe 2013, 2016, where he even was still bringing it up. He's like, I don't know why, because there was a shift at the time. It was when that regime was going out and the Will Ferrell regime was coming in. But he's like, a lot of the guys were just given their release. We were actually brought in and fired.
Yeah.
Like those 2 were actually fired as opposed to just
I think there was an unwritten rule for a while that you could only be on there for so long.
That's one of the stories, but that rule obviously got broken. I mean, Tim Meadows was in at that time.
Right.
And he kind of carried over.
That's true.
You know, so who knows what the whole story was. Like I said, even in the article, he didn't give any explanation. I mean, the old, well, we wrote our course at the time. You know, our run was over and it was time for the next guys. And he's like, I look back on it and, you know, maybe if I didn't end up so well, I'd be a little bit more pissed off. But, you know, things are okay for me.
Yeah, things are pretty okay for Adam Sandler.
Because
I joke about that DVD with 4 more movies that we can do on this show.
But all those movies, as terrible as they are,
have all made a ton of money.
They all make money.
They all make money.
I mean, Adam Sandler, despite putting out in the current day trash, is still bankable.
Right.
I mean, his Netflix thing, I refuse to watch any of those movies, but he's made 6 of them. I think he has 2 more on his contract. He had an 8-picture deal from Netflix worth tens of millions of dollars, just ridiculous amounts of money. I can't imagine anybody's watching this shit.
I watched The Ridiculous 6, which was the first one.
Okay.
And we watched it while I was working one day. Mm-hmm. And we kept looking up periodically at the TV, being like, this is still on? Mm-hmm. It was bad.
And that kind of actually falls into my reasoning. We're gonna obviously break down Billy Madison in detail as we do, but that does kind of play into my reasoning for why Adam Sandler movies got bad.
Yeah.
If you look at his earlier work, all the way up through right around, let me see. Oh, these are producing credits. I'm sorry. I was looking for acting credits. Right around, it was after Big Daddy. So it
Click.
was.
I'd put it in the Click. because what ends up happening is
what
you
ended up
have-
happening was it was around The Longest Yard, actually. That was the one
right
where he started getting almost total creative control. And what happened is what I kind of call the Apatow effect, where if you look at his earlier films, they were all tight 90 minutes.
yeah
All of a sudden, Longest Yard comes out, it's pushing 2 hours.
right
And everything after that is pushing 2 or more hours.
yeah
Funny People's almost 2.5 hours long.
oh yeah
And for an Adam Sandler comedy,
yep.
you're not telling me a deep enough story to hold my attention for 2.5 hours.
The other part too is you look at his performances, right? This is still Shabadoo
Yep.
Adam Sandler.
Yep.
Whereas he can no longer play Shabadoo Adam Sandler anymore.
That's become another big issue with him, where he's gotten older, he's grown up,
Yeah.
despite the pun. But it worked very well here.
Right.
Coming off of SNL, still I think he was in his late 20s at the time.
Right. 27 years old.
Was that an accurate time frame?
I want to say it's got to be around there.
Because Billy Madison was a 27-year-old person in the movie. It was still okay for him to be the drunk doofus.
Yeah.
But in his 50s,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's like it would almost be like desperate and sad to watch him do the baby talk gibberish drunk doofish part
Yeah.
in these types of comedies.
Absolutely.
I mean, Punch Drunk Love was wonderful.
Now, the other
but-
time, as somebody who wants to make movies, you know what I mean? You look at somebody like Adam Sandler, and he's living the dream, man.
Absolutely.
He is crushing it because
Absolutely.
his movies make money, so he keeps making movies, and then all he does is hang out with his buddies.
Yeah.
He just hangs out with his buddies and makes movies.
Yeah.
And
It's literally like, there was a joke. I don't remember. It might have been on the director's commentary, actually, of Billy Madison, because I listened to that today. Tamra Davis did a director's commentary on a DVD, and I think she even made note that he makes a lot of movies in Hawaii now,
yeah.
and it's like, pick a destination,
And we're gonna do it.
gather up, Kevin James and Chris Rock and David Spade, and we're just going to go on vacation. Maybe Drew Barrymore can come and play my wife, whatever, or Salma Hayek. We'll bobble between the two.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal.
Ain't a bad deal at all.
They oddly make money.
Yeah.
And I say oddly because they're not quality
Right.
films.
Right. They haven't been good.
I've tried a few of them, not the Netflix ones, but I've watched Grown Ups. I've watched Grown Ups too. I've watched some of the later comedies that have hit Stars or
Pixels.
HBO. I tried part of that. I was like, I'm out. I don't give a shit. But it's like they're not quality films, and I think part of it is the editing.
Right.
Part of it is he doesn't have an editor, and actually there was a ton of like extended deleted scenes in Billy Madison that are on a DVD, and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this makes complete sense. Billy Madison was a tight 90 minutes, but he wasn't controlling the film. He wasn't controlling the final cut.
Right.
And all of these deleted scenes.
He's falling in love with his footage is what's happening.
He's buying into his own bullshit. He thinks he's the funniest person alive. And all of the deleted scenes were just longer, him going, just riffing and longer jokes. And it's like, if you just trim every one of your jokes by 3 to 5 seconds, you have a tighter movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's filmmaking 101. I don't have to explain this to Adam Sandler, but come on now.
Yeah, right.
But let's jump into Billy Madison.
Yes.
Because this is actually a praisable Adam Sandler film. This is one of the better ones.
Yeah. And so the movie is fun. It's that it's all of the things that I think Back to School wanted to be. That like Back to School was great.
Yeah.
And we talked about that last week. You can watch it in the archives, Back to School. But it takes the concept of this very, very wealthy guy and throws him back into school, but it actually gave it a plot. Like Back to School didn't have a plot.
No.
At all.
No.
It was just Rodney Dangerfield being Rodney Dangerfield for 90 minutes.
Doing Rodney stuff at college.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. Whereas this kind of takes the inspiration from that, where it's like, hey, we're going to take this very funny guy and we're going to put him in these, like a similar type situation.
Right.
So he can do these outlandish, funny things, but it's going to have more of a story and it's going to have more of a heart. Right, because the connection that Billy ends up having with one of the with Ernie is genuine and really nice.
Yeah.
And, him going through school and kind of feeling all of those emotions of going through school is genuine and, definitely works.
Yeah.
Him learning a lesson at the end, to having, oh God, why can't I remember his name? The guy he's going to shoot him.
Bradley Whitford? Or
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi?
Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
Steve Buscemi.
Because they both had guns. We'll get to the ending.
Yeah, we'll get to the ending. But Steve Buscemi, making amends with him for being a douche in high school.
Right.
All the O'Doyles,
Well, they got their comeuppance, didn't
they did. They did. So that's my basic takeaway from the movie.
Right.
Is it has a lot of heart in it, surprisingly, for as funny as it is.
Yeah. It does. And there was one thing that kind of confused me watching it back, and I think it was just, I don't think Sandler really made a decision one way or the other, and it was whether Billy was a spoiled rich kid that didn't give a shit,
Yeah.
or if he was actually a man-child that was had like a elementary school education.
Right. The problem,
Because when you first meet him, he's just, he doesn't give a shit. He's a rich guy who doesn't need to have school.
Right.
He's getting drunk with his friends. He's lighting shit on fire, literally. But he's still being a 27-year-old rich kid.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, about halfway through the movie, the baby talk stuff, it's Sandler, so you gave it a pass. But then all of a sudden you see his bedroom.
Right.
And his bedroom looks like a toddler's fucking bedroom.
Right.
And I'm like, is he actually slow?
Yeah, this was probably the biggest problem is that he should have been going back to school and actually been competent at the whole thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where
It shouldn't have been so challenging.
right. At least the high school stuff shouldn't have been so challenging.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, shit, he couldn't do cursive. I can't really do cursive, but I could figure it out if I thought really hard. Okay, Z,
Yeah, right.
But I mean, he just
that scene.
he couldn't, and then he got the whole temper tantrum running out. I was like,
Yeah.
that whole I'm never coming back to school. It just felt off to me.
Right. Yeah, right. Because he's either he shouldn't have actually been an idiot. Right? It should have been more to
I understand, if you don't use your brain for 27 years, this stuff might take a couple seconds to think about.
right.
But come on.
Right. Because I think
They played him as slow.
right, they played him at slow because if the Jeopardy competition at the end, right, if we know going in that that's going to be the goal, so it's hey, you have to go and basically relearn all of education in in 3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And at that point, he had to do all of high school in a week.
right.
Because at the end, he challenges Bradley Whitford. He's like, on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck, you had trouble with third grade in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Slow down.
Yeah, relax, dude. Relax.
But we start off, he's in the pool doing the sunscreen song.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. We meet his two friends, Clark and Frank.
Yep.
Played by the brilliant Norm Macdonald. I am always been a huge Norm Macdonald fan. But fun fact, one of the very...
Rest in peace, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. There is actually a Bandit reference in this, too.
Yeah.
The Trans Am he drives to high school.
Oh, that's right.
Bandit Trans Am. And that's the first thing I'm like, God damn it, this movie is just... Burt is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
But one of the very few casting differences was Frank. Norm Macdonald's character was originally intended for David Spade.
Oh, okay.
Scheduling conflict. I think Tommy Boy was actually getting in the way.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And the other one, Clark, who I'm spacing on the actual actor who played him, but it was supposed to be one of Sandler's buddies, who's in all his movies now.
Yeah, like a Rob Schneider.
No,
but
one of the actual friends. You know what I mean? Like one of those guys.
Okay.
He was the lead in Grandma's Boy.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Christ, let me find it real quick.
It was the I'm gonna know his name and it starts with Swartzen. Nick Swartzen?
No, that is one of his friends, but that's not the one. Nick was in the movie, but I'm talking the actual lead of Grandma's Boys. And everybody who is listening or watching right now is fucking yelling at their screen. I know they are. 2 seconds. Come on now. He was also he played the bald theater actor in Little Nicky. Alan Covert.
Okay.
Alan
yeah,
Covert.
Yeah.
But that was actually one that the studio balked on. Adam didn't have enough power at the time.
Yeah,
to have his
that
buddy
makes
in it. So they wouldn't hire him. But those are really the only two acting possibilities that were changed. Something that's actually bigger that I did a little research and actually was a lot discussed on the director's commentary was that Tamra Davis wasn't the original director.
Oh.
She came on after they had been filming for 4 days and fired the director.
Oh, brutal.
And there are two scenes that remained in the movie. One was the office part with Bradley Whitford, knocking out his secretary with the remote.
Yeah.
And the other was part of the field trip scene. And the reason Tamra Davis didn't like it, and she talked about it in the commentary, was the original director was like trying to sexy up Bridgette Wilson.
Okay.
Like, so that's the only reason that in that field trip scene she's wearing short skirt, while the rest of the movie she's dressing like an actual teacher.
Right. Yeah.
She's like she's a beautiful woman. She doesn't need the short skirts and the sexy
we don't
teacher
need to
shit.
Sexualize
we don't
her.
need to shoehorn it.
Yeah.
So, but that was the two scenes that lasted, and she had to actually go with, because they had already shot that part of the scene.
Right.
Go with the rest of the scene, which she also said ended up being one of her favorite scenes, was the interaction between Sandler and Chris Farley at the bus about Veronica Vaughn being a piece of ass.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know from personal experience. No, you don't.
No, you
I know a guy. No, you don't. You can imagine. All right, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That was it's a very that's so funny. Yeah. So basically
Happy accident.
Yeah, happy accident from Billy Madison.
Which could actually be the name of his fucking company.
Yeah, happy accident.
Happy accident.
It's
an Adam
close
Sandler
enough.
movie now.
It's close enough.
So we're introduced to the drunken Billy Madison and his two buddies.
Yeah.
On Nudie Magazine Day.
Yeah.
Which, watching this back, I'm just like, God, it looks so fun to have a golf cart.
Yeah, right.
Owning a golf cart
between
and
this-
some land.
Right. Between this and a weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Golf carts look awesome.
Golf carts look so they are fun. Anytime I can drive a golf cart, I'm so irresponsible with them.
Yeah, of course.
But they look so fun.
Yeah. So we find out that Billy, his dad, runs Madison Hotels.
Yes.
Which is
650 hotels, which is more than pretty much any major name hotel company.
Yeah, right. So it's like the fictional hotel.
Yes.
It's the fictional hotel. And so basically he ruins a dinner between like his dad and one of his like potential business partners.
Business folk.
Yeah.
Old white men in suits.
Yeah. And so he's just his dad still loves him, but he's like, you're a knucklehead.
Yeah, and we developed the conflict between him and Bradley Whitford.
Right.
The bond between him and I forget the dude's name, but he played actually the priest in Pain and Gain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the older skinny guy.
Yeah.
Maybe his name was Clark, and I'm just spacing on his other friend's name, but doesn't matter.
Right. Him. So they basically get into like basically an argument because Billy's dad is like, you're not gonna be in charge of this ever because Eric's gonna do it.
Yeah,
Eric's gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and basically Billy realizes that if Eric's in charge, he's not gonna be able to be a jerk anymore, and just like
Carl is who I was thinking of.
Carl.
Carl is the associate that Billy is close with.
Yeah.
Frank and Jack are his friends. Norm Macdonald was Frank. Jack, I guess, is the other friend. I said Clark. Whatever.
Sure, whatever. Close enough. Who cares?
I don't think they said his name once.
Yeah, no. You're using character names, and I'm like, I don't know when that came from.
I couldn't remember the actor's name.
Yeah.
Mark Beltzman was the actor there. We also get a weird subplot that really isn't ever paid off, but is constantly hinted at, that Billy has drunkenly fucked the maid.
Yes. Yeah, the black maid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's way into it.
Yeah.
Like it's complete. Like she's taking advantage of him when he's drunk.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's when I also Googled how old is Billy Madison.
Yeah, right.
Because it's an awkward. There's a lot of weird relationships in this movie.
Everybody has a weird relationship.
Yeah.
Which
is also paid off at the end.
Yes, that's very true. And the clown.
And the clown. Yeah.
And the clown.
Yeah.
So basically, they finally come to the compromise that Billy must complete all 12 grades in 2-week intervals.
Yep.
To be deemed competent enough to take over
Madison Hotels.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, and if he fails to complete each course in 2 weeks, Eric
gets it.
Yeah.
And so that's the conflict. Super simple.
Yeah.
Put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Let's start the shenanigans.
Let's go.
And so he ends up going to school. And is Miss Lippy his first teacher?
She's first grade.
She's first grade, right?
Yep.
And so that lady is a delight.
She's, again, weird shit happening in this movie.
Yeah, the paste on the eyeballs.
Excessive amount of eating of paste in this whole first grade scene.
Yeah.
And especially because if you're running an elementary school, you're using like the kind of glue that isn't toxic.
Yeah, right.
So eating it would just make your mouth sticky.
Yeah, right.
And probably bind you up a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably not good for you, but it's not
He would have been
toxic.
better off sniffing the markers.
Yeah, right.
That would have probably worked a little bit better. And then, but it would have been weird because he wouldn't have got the Miss Lippy payoff, as you said. She was gluing her eyes shut in some weird S&M type shit.
Yeah, some weird
while
nonsense.
Billy's clapping erasers. But anyway, we get the dodgeball scene.
Oh, yeah.
Number one.
You don't remember this?
No.
It was in the Miss Lippy scene.
Was it?
It's playing in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, when she was doing the glue?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
that makes it even creepier.
It does.
I want everybody to just kind of close your eyes. And as you listen to this, picture Miss Lippy straddling you,
In her smock.
draping glue over your eyes. Child-safe glue, of course,
Yeah.
but still glue over your eyes.
Smock.
And then she just starts weirdly dancing around the room. Kind of almost
Eyes
a
glued shut.
National Geographic gyration type dancing too.
Yeah.
Some tantric sex dances.
It's
Right.
so her whole deal was very odd, but good for her.
Yeah.
That girl from the Skittles Pox commercial reminds me of her.
Very much. Great reference. And the kid in that reminds me of O'Doyle.
Yeah. Yes.
Every one of them.
He rules.
He rules. But the dodgeball scene, Adam Sandler had this idea that he called the director at like 2 a.m. the night before, and he goes, I actually want to like drill the kids.
Yeah.
So they had to go to each child and say, are you okay with Adam throwing the ball really hard at you?
Yeah.
And of course, all the kids were like, yeah. And he like literally,
He just went for it.
the reason that scene is cut the way it is in such a quick cut,
It's because
cut,
they stopped.
because the kids started crying.
Yeah.
There was like basically a park full of kids just crying their eyes out.
That's so funny.
And the director said we had to specifically ask the kids because you can't ask a stage parent because they'll just throw the kid into the fire.
Yeah, right.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
I love how she completely threw the parents on the bus. Parents wouldn't care. They just want their kid on TV on the movie.
Right.
So we asked the kids, "Are you okay with it?" And he beamed the fuck out of them.
Yeah, of course.
Hard. And you can actually see a couple of them. There's one where if you pause it just right, the kid got a face full of rubber ball.
Yeah. Oh, brutal. Brutal.
And then we're introduced to the first of many. Billy graduates a grade. We get a big ass party.
Yeah, they just throw parties.
We throw a rager because when you own 650 fucking hotels across
Yeah,
the
you
country,
just do that.
You just do it.
I do love that that's the thing, is that's what they're going to do. Is
Yeah.
like every time he graduates, he's going to throw a party.
Again, the morals are very loose in this whole
Right.
thing. It's like he's not really learning his lesson, and he's bringing his idiot friends along with him who are just getting drunk and terrorizing children.
Right. And the funny part is that all the kids are invited.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny part, is like this adult just descends on this class for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then just throws a party.
I mean, I'd be okay with it.
I know. I think
It looks like the best party ever.
Yeah. So fine. Everybody seems okay with it until he reaches third grade, and that's where he meets Miss Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica Vaughn, yeah.
Veronica Vaughn.
Now, he met her.
Before.
This I also found odd. He met her twice before.
Yes.
In first grade, when he first shows up, she's the first person he meets.
Yeah.
Then he meets her again in second grade when the milk conversation. You want this milk? It could be our milk. And, Sideburns,
Yeah.
who we realize is kind of spying, I guess.
I guess.
Whatever. Weird. And then he's in her class.
Right.
And my confusion was with his reaction when she walks in. Like, he acts like this is the first time seeing her and, oh my God, I'm in love, when he's interacted and
Right.
actually hit on her already.
Right. Because the first time we meet her, he mistakes her for a parent.
Right.
And so it's like, no, I'm not a parent, I'm a teacher.
Right.
And then you find her in the hallway. This could be our milk, and she shoots him down.
Right.
And then the third time, you're right. It's weird.
bat.
Yeah, of course.
There's a bat in the studio.
Another bat in the studio.
Cool.
And And the third time you meet her, it's I don't know why you're reacting this
Right,
way.
because he literally like fell in love for the first time. It was that moment like, oh my God, she comes through the door and this is the first time I've seen her. It's like,
no, you've definitely seen her before. So I
No.
wonder if the scenes got all messed around.
maybe,
And so like you look at it where
but maybe.
it
Maybe.
doesn't make sense because there's no order in which that makes sense.
The only one that it would have, the only one that could have was the milk one because that was literally his first day of school, the first one.
Right.
And that was the whole setup. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're just because your father has money and all that stuff? I mean,
Right.
So I don't know. I think it was just poor acting in that part.
Yeah, probably.
He made a bad choice on that one, pal.
Yeah, yes. So, he's having a tougher time because she's not taking it easy on him. Right? That's where we get the cursive scene and what is it? The Russo?
Rizzuto.
And
And he makes two squiggly R's.
Because I wanted to say Rarudo.
Rarudo.
And I'm like, I know that's not right. Rarudo.
His intro into third grade, his first thing was definitely probably the only thing that really didn't. We were talking off the air about what didn't age well. That's really the only thing is him making fun of the stutter kid.
Yeah.
And even, again, I'm just going to go back to the director's commentary. Even she goes, I can't believe we made fun of a kid with a stutter. That's horrible.
That's so funny.
And it was one of those things like that's just,
Yeah, it's just like,
I don't know if even 90s Mike would have laughed at that probably, actually. But,
Yeah, probably.
Looking back, that's the only one that was like, that's
maybe not.
a rough one.
Maybe we don't do that. So we also get the field trip. Chris Farley is in the field trip.
Yep.
And so we were just talking about that.
Yep.
We also get the famous Ernie peed his pants scene.
Yep.
If you're not peeing your pants, you're not cool.
Yep, absolutely.
And then the old lady
Miles Davis
comes in over the top. Gross.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, I love how he wraps up the field trip.
Yeah.
The student's just like, yeah, fuck it, we're done. We've been here for 10 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get out
right.
of here.
His friends steal the lunches with Chris Farley.
Yeah. They all get
As you do.
high and eat the lunches.
I mean, okay. I guess
it's weird that they showed up.
it's weird that they're in that scene.
It's weird that they showed up.
Chris Farley by himself probably would have worked just fine.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And so then I think at this one, this is the party in which the clown almost dies.
Yeah.
The clown falls down and cracks his head.
Yes.
And that gets paid off later.
Yep.
This is also the party in which Eric blackmails the principal,
Yep.
right? And so
The revolting blob.
the revolting blob, and it's so funny because he's a wrestler
From the 80s.
from the 80s,
Yep.
and he wore a mask, and nobody knew who he was.
Yep.
But he killed a guy.
Yep. By
And
sitting on him.
By sitting on him, and he sat on his head, and he's like, he was supposed to pinch my leg.
Yep.
It's so
Fucking
funny.
exposing the business, pal.
Yeah. Oh God, man. You can be a professional. Be a goddamn pro.
So he starts his blackmail on him. And then we move Billy into where are we at now? 4th, 5th grade? Well, it basically they montage
they
through.
montage through.
They
till high
spend so
school.
much time on 3rd grade that it's
Yeah.
literally just a montage with
All the way to high
with
school.
Eric moving the piece over and
Yeah.
over in his office. And then we get to high school. We get the Bandit Trans Am.
Yeah,
wearing
and
the
he's-
Ario Speedwagon shirt and realizes shit. I'm not as cool as I thought I was.
Right.
It also puts him. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would make sense at 27 as an 80s high schooler.
Right.
So I
At
guess
that point.
I guess that all kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And so they're all looking at him like he's an idiot.
But it's like shit, man. That's not even 90s cool. And as a 27-year-old, you'd probably be like,
yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah,
I just want to know.
I got the gag.
Yeah. Right. The gag is that this is what I was in high school, and I'm not.
So
cool
high
anymore.
school, nobody's changed.
Yeah, they do.
Styles haven't changed.
Yeah. Right.
Even though my own style has changed into the 90s because he was wearing very 90s shit earlier. But
Yeah, right.
whatever. Poking holes.
Yeah, poking so many holes. Well, they do the same thing in 21 Jump Street.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where
Right.
it's just like, yeah, this is what I did in high school, so we're gonna do it again.
Yes.
And this is what the teenagers think is cool. And
What they did think was cool.
what they did think was cool.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So basically, the principal comes out saying that he cheated
On TV.
on TV. Saying
Great throwaway Norm Macdonald line. Because they're watching on TV.
that- yeah.
And all of a sudden, they breaking news. Coming up next, hotel tycoon's idiot son cheats his way through elementary school up next. And everybody looks at him, and Norm Macdonald goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. It could be somebody else.
Yeah, right.
It's like, well done.
Yeah,
Well
right.
fucking done.
Well done. And so basically that's how we get the Jeopardy style like challenge.
Right.
Because
Well, Billy basically falls off the wagon once it's all blown up in his face. He starts getting hammered again.
Yeah.
He starts fucking around. They goes back to Veronica's house to try to light shit on her carpet or something like that.
Yeah, something.
He's back to being the Billy we met in the opening credits.
Right, because he doesn't care anymore. It didn't feel like it was working towards anything, and so yeah, he goes back. So
She wakes him up, beats the shit out of him in the pool.
yeah, she does.
Great scene. Cut to musical number.
Right.
Cool.
The clown lives.
The clown lives. There was actually one of the things in the DVD that, again, glad they cut this, but it is there. There's a much more extended version of this where Bradley Whitford has a line. The Revolting Blob has a line. Norm Macdonald has a line. There's a different line with the kids.
Right.
And Veronica also has a great ass line as opposed to the rack line.
Okay.
So it was like 5 more sections of that, which
Weird.
Glad they condensed it.
Yeah.
As you do.
As you do.
And the clown lives.
Yeah, which is so absurdly funny.
Everybody's having a good time.
Yep.
Singing, dancing
Yeah.
about gum.
Yeah. And so Billy's going to learn how to get through high school. Veronica's going to teach him by doing strip flashcards.
Yep.
And in the process of this, and I forget exactly the order, but this is the Steve Buscemi. He calls him and apologizes for being a douche.
Oh, that was well earlier.
Was it?
Yeah, that was earlier. That was right after he went to high school, and
Yeah,
O'Doyle dumped oatmeal on his head. He
Yeah.
went back to 3rd grade, and he was talking to Veronica in the
don't you
hallway.
leave.
And she's just like, maybe you weren't so nice to some kids in high school, and he goes back home and calls him.
Yeah.
And that was the scene.
And the funniest part about that is it's just the people to kill, and he just crosses him off.
All crew members also on the list.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
fun.
There was all crew members and Billy Madison in there as well.
That's fun.
They also did, both of them. The director said that they both did it in one take.
Okay.
So both of them did their conversation in one take. And if you watch it in the edit, it's like you can tell because it's one tracking shot. And Buscemi's is actually really good because they track right into the list, pull back out as he lays back and puts the lipstick on, and it's all just one. And I'm like, well, okay,
That's good.
Now that I'm paying attention, that's a really good shot.
Yeah, that was really good.
Technical side of things.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Back to the fun.
Very good. So they're gonna have a Jeopardy style showdown.
Yeah, challenges Bradley Whitford to a battle of the minds, mano
Right.
a mano, even though nobody knows what mano a mano means.
Yeah.
On Friday. So 5 days to learn all of high school.
Yeah. So he goes through a study session. He's gonna do it, and they're gonna have the academic decathlon.
It really speaks to how they feel, how much actual education you get from high school.
Yeah.
If Billy Madison can cram it into 5 days.
Yeah, of course.
you know.
Of absolutely course.
Yeah.
So they go back and forth, and you end up finding that like Billy Madison is gonna win.
Well, yeah, I mean there was the whole study training thing.
Yeah.
We oddly get a Chris Farley striptease.
That's right.
Which another little fun fact the director pointed out, because they were all staying in the same hotel. It was filmed in Toronto.
Okay.
And they were all staying in the same hotel. And one night she had a knock at her door, and it was Chris Farley basically doing the Chippendales dance. That's
Yeah.
where they actually created that thing
Okay.
with him and Adam Sandler. They all basically did the Chippendales thing for her, and she's like, and then I saw it on TV.
That's really
That
funny.
it was like the end of their run there.
Yeah. The Chippendales with Swayze
Just a little fun fact. Yeah,
from Roadhouse,
Roadhouse in the archives.
where everybody is just trying to fuck.
It's just one big Dalton fuck fest.
That's all it is.
You think the Miss Lippy thing was weird? Go listen to Roadhouse or watch Roadhouse. It's in the
Do
archives.
both. Do both.
NewAgeInsiders.com. Yeah.
Do both.
Yeah, do Miss Lippy.
Yeah.
So we get to the decathlon. Decathlon it must be.
Academic decathlon.
Academic decathlon. Yeah. And we're going back and forth. They light the guy on fire.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Billy boils his shoe, and I guess that's
right.
science.
Yeah.
The instruments was fun. I like that one.
Yeah, they had to
where
play.
Bradley Whitford does the violin. He's really, really fucking good, and Billy just grabs a clarinet and just blows into it. He's good.
Yeah.
All right, fair fucks. That made me laugh.
That was good. Yeah. He just. It's not gonna work.
Physical fitness got the weird balls line from the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. What else did they do? Oh, the acting bit, the theater bit.
Oh yeah. He comes in with the skull
Yep.
all Shakespeare'd out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're down to the final Jeopardy style thing because Billy's up by 1 point.
Right.
Right. How he's winning by 1 point, the fix is in.
Yeah.
I mean, Thornton Mellon did it straight up.
Right. That's true.
Billy Madison's up here fucking cheating, boiling shoes and shit.
Yeah, right. And it's really funny because this escalates so quickly.
It does. So I'm trying to look for the line I was trying to get. So they got the Jeopardy, and they have to basically pick each other's category.
Right.
And what was? Do you remember the category that Billy got?
I forget.
Hang on a second, I'll pull it up.
But yeah, it's Eric's reaction to losing this.
Yeah.
Is bonkers.
Yes, it really is. Okay, so the categories, there was 20 categories listed on the final board there. English literature, easy for me to say, U.S. presidents, My Wife's a Tramp, astronomy, baking, burning dog poo and the human response, reflections on society and literature, that's the one Billy gets, information systems, chemistry, the Roman Empire, My Spouse is Sleeping Around, the French Revolution, automotive repair, 20th century poetry, calculus, needlepoint, architecture, business ethics, which Eric gets, Shakespeare, and I Married Common Street Trash. The principal was one of the great late entry comedy bits of this whole fucking movie. Him hating on his wife was wonderful.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
So they're given their categories. As I said, Billy's was the modern literature one, the society and modern literature, and basically goes on a diatribe about the little dog story that Miss Lippy told in first grade.
Yeah, right.
And as I've been stalling, it's because I actually wanted to read the principal's response, word for word. Mr. Madison, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow,
Brutal.
that is a great fucking line.
Brutal.
That is a wonderful
So funny.
line. How many actors have used that as their fucking monologue in auditions?
They have.
That is wonderful. Fuck Glengarry, that.
Yeah, right. Glenn Ross.
And so Eric is given business ethics and just immediately goes nuclear. Pulls a gun.
Yep.
Fucking.
Yep.
He pulls a gun and is threatening to shoot Billy.
Yeah.
I love the principal is just no selling the whole fucking thing. He's just leaning on the podium like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
The revolting blob, full gimmicked, it comes
Shows up
out of left field, elbow smashes the gun down, but somehow off camera gets flipped down and he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And now Eric has the gun again,
Yeah.
pointing the gun at Bridgette Wilson, Veronica Vaughn,
gonna
and
shoot
just
her.
getting all maniacal laughing.
Yeah.
And then gets shot in the ass by sniper Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, from out of nowhere.
Who just waves it off and fucks off out of the place. What the fuck happened to this movie?
Yeah. And
I was all in on this is just a dumb, goofy Adam Sandler movie, but we took a hard left into fucked up town.
hard left. There's a lot that's happening. Billy then all of a sudden just graduates, and we don't talk about this anymore.
Well, even as we're wrapping it up, the whole fucking crowd, as soon as the gunshot goes off, the whole crowd just disperses.
Yeah.
Except for his two drunken friends who are just hanging.
Yes.
He gives her a hug, grabs her ass, looks at his buddies, and we end with thumbs up for the ass grab. There was a guy shot.
Yeah. And a guy that was threatening to shoot somebody else.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, cut to graduation.
Yeah.
Held Billy's own personal graduation, held in his father's backyard.
Yeah, of course.
Full Madison gimmicked out.
As you do.
As you do. And gives one of the worst graduation speeches ever.
Yes.
Including a "Peace, I'm out of here" to wrap it up.
Yeah.
He does end up giving
the hotel to Carl.
To Carl, yes. He gives the hotel chain to Carl. And then everyone just starts making out.
Yeah.
The principal tries to make out with him.
Yeah, everybody. Oh,
Still, he says he's horny and just starts fat guy gyrating on him.
Right.
It's the only way to describe it. He gets fucked off, and then Veronica goes, "You think he's horny?" And they start making out. Cut to the crowd, and Norm Macdonald is making out with someone.
Yeah. It's a lot of someones.
I forget who he was making out with. Miss Lippy's making out with the almost dead clown.
Yep.
His friend, Frank, what the fuck that guy's name was. He didn't have a name in the movie.
No.
He tries to make out with a grade school girl. She pushes him off. Weird.
Yeah,
then we cut to the woods, and
Eric's there.
the maid is making out with Steve Buscemi.
That's right.
Chris Farley starts making out with the imaginary penguin.
That's right.
How far off the fucking rails did this fucking last 10 minutes go?
Oh, yeah, because, and then the most insane thing is that Eric is just watching.
Oh, he's there for the whole graduation.
Yeah, he's just like...
With his ass donut and fucking crutches. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm done.
Yeah, like he didn't try to murder him.
He's not in jail.
Yeah.
He drew a gun in a fucking auditorium
School.
of children.
Yes. And it was nuts.
I guess you can just wave the gun around and it's cool. You can still attend graduation because it wasn't a real graduation.
It was also before Columbine.
There was that too.
So it was okay. You could bring a gun to...
Fucking...
In 1995, you could bring a loaded gun to an
last
auditorium.
10 minutes just... Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like... What the fuck happened?
Yeah, it took a hard left. It was crazy.
It was like this movie was going to a natural ending that we were all expecting.
Yeah, Billy was going to triumph with the speech.
And then the gun and everyone starts fucking.
Yeah.
Basic PG-13 ending with an orgy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
We've mentioned Norm Macdonald a bunch. He was drunk throughout the whole thing.
Oh, shocking.
He is as method with his drinking acting as I am on Wicked Bites.
Yeah.
He was straight up drunk through most of his scenes.
Yeah, shocking.
Actually, most of them were for those scenes.
Shocking.
Yeah, actually do.
I'm so shocked.
Tamra Davis, the director, she really hasn't done a ton of movies. She's done this and CB4.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of CB4. But she was actually a music video director. And she did Depeche Mode. She was a big late 80s into the 90s type of music video. Did a couple NWA, did Tone Loc, Sonic Youth, New Kids on the Block, Indigo Girls, very very 90s type shit. Directed the Britney Spears movie Crossroads.
Oh.
And has done a ton. Actually, well, that's because she did a ton of Britney videos as well. So she probably became friends with her that way. She's done a ton of TV in the last few years. But was also offered Happy Gilmore immediately after Billy Madison, but turned it down because she didn't want to basically repeat herself.
Okay.
She didn't want the movie to basically be a copy of the last movie, so she wanted to give it to somebody else.
Makes sense.
Yeah, good.
It makes sense.
What else do we have for Billy Madison? Anything?
That's it, man.
Anything? I mean, there was no real. I did a lot of digging. I'm like, is there anything weird facts about the movie? And there really wasn't. Like, Spade had to do Tommy Boy, so he wasn't in the movie. His friend, Sandler wasn't powerful enough in Hollywood to get his friend in it, so he didn't do it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the director being fired, that's the only weird one. And I don't know, and I looked, I don't know who the director was that got fired that filmed for 4 days.
Yeah, or why.
But it was funny. This is one of those movies, and it's funny that they fired the director and hired another one because it's kind of what we went over when we did the Ocean's 11 thing with the Sinatra version, where it's basically like the director's just there to call action, and then Sinatra was directing the movie.
Yeah, right.
Sandler was directing the movie. I mean, even in the outtakes reel, you can hear him directing the kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look up here and do this and do that. I think it's just they needed somebody professional.
Well, that's kind of the way that he does it, which I do respect. I do respect that there is a director.
Know your limitations, absolutely.
Even if you're doing most of the actual directing of the talent, you have this director in charge. Like, he's never one of those people like Affleck, right? Affleck is the director and the lead. Sandler always has somebody behind the camera while he's in front of it.
He needs a more confident editor nowadays.
Well, that's true. He should get Tarantino's editor.
Yeah, exactly. That's even worse. It'd be a 4-hour fucking epic. Let's get the most rare lenses ever to shoot Happy Gilmore 2 and make it 4 hours and only do it in Roadhouse fucking movies. 70 millimeter across the country.
Yeah.
Billy Madison 2.
Yeah. I'm in.
Fuck it. Tarantino. They're actually buddies too. He had that cameo in Little Nicky.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Little Nicky.
Actually, Adam Sandler, that's a fun little connection. Adam Sandler was originally going to be one of the Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The role he was going to have was B.J. Novak.
Okay.
He was going to be that character.
Okay.
And for one reason or another, probably scheduling, he was out doing, Grown Ups 8.5.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't do it. But that was like, I remember Tarantino when he was actually casting it, he was kind of like almost, because it was a while he was in.
Right.
For a while, Sandler was in the movie.
I remember.
And Tarantino was selling it like, yeah, this is like what I did with Travolta. This is going to be like his new, like, he's going
Resurgence.
to basically transform his character in Hollywood. Didn't do it, and now we have Sandler being Sandler.
Now we have the Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't mess with the Zohan again.
The Ridiculous Six. Both of those, by the way, over 2 hours long.
I know.
What the fuck?
Oh, I know.
What the fuck?
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Have you watched Zohan? I haven't watched it.
I watched it in theaters.
Really?
Yeah.
Bold move.
I know.
That's a bold move.
Yeah, it didn't pay off.
You're
at
a
all.
Sandler fan, aren't you?
No.
Really?
One of my favorite
You
movies.
bought the fucking DVD pack.
But yeah, the only reason I bought the DVD pack is because I needed to watch Here Comes the Boom.
I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
$2.99.
I know. It was
That was a botched move.
It was a poor choice. Poor choice all the way around on my part.
But has given us limitless comedy on the show.
Yeah, right. Limitless. So at the end of the day,
It's a tax write-off. You did it for the show.
I did it for the show. No, but one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies is actually The Waterboy.
I do like that one.
That's one of my favorite
And that
ones.
was still back when he was in his sweet spot, still making those tight 90-minute movies.
It's a good movie. I like sports movies.
They're goofy comedies, man. They don't need wide scope. Just fucking make them 90 minutes and be done with it.
Right.
Speaking of being done with it, we are done with this show. We are moving on to
Yes.
next week. Next week, we're doing the 1982 classic. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Keeping with the school theme during the September month. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Oh, I have so many thoughts on this movie.
Yeah, I do too.
This was especially in my my days running video stores. This tape was highly rented.
Really?
And a certain part of it was always really worn out.
Weird.
We'll get there next
Weird.
week on That Movie Show.
She's a child.
No, not that part.
Oh.
Not that part.
Okay.
No, not that part. God, you already gotta end it on rape.
I was just saying that she was a child.
Thank you for joining us on That Movie Show. I am Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker, Bill Neville. You can follow us all on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever the hell you can find us. Follow us. The podcast, you can follow New Age Insiders Pop on all forms of podcasting. Hit the subscribe button, and all of our archives can be found at newageinsiders.com. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Veronica, I thank you for beating the shit out of me. I see things so clearly now. I choose my destiny.